Welcome to Creating Snapshots. Now, this is going to be a two-part video because to use snapshots, you need to get really comfortable with the way VMware's thinking and the way you're thinking about these snapshots. And the best way to do this, I'm going to take you through this exercise. It'll take a couple of videos here because we have to spend a fair amount of time waiting on these snapshots to create and restore and stuff. But I want you to physically do what I do. You don't have to do it as I'm doing it, but at some point get in a quiet room away from the kids, the dogs, the TV, all that stuff, and build this little example and play with snapshots so that you really get it in your brain how these things are working. Okay, so notice I'm going to work on my XP Professional machine, and what I'm going to do is drag the file list here off of the host machine so that you can see this, and you can see that I've got one VMDK here. All right, not a whole lot else is going on. There's my VMSD, my VMX. So I'm going to drag this back out of the way and we'll look at it again in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is work in full screen here, and I am going to right click and create a new folder here, and I'm going to call it Before Snapshot 1. And then what I'm going to do is actually take a snapshot now. Now if I move up here, I can go to the menu, go to VM, do snapshot, come over here, hit Control M or Snapshot Manager, or I could hit Control M from the desktop and bring that up. There's an even better way. On this little menu, there is a little clock and a wrench. If I click that, there it is. So to take a snapshot, very tough. I just click Take Snapshot. All right, now let me show you one more little trick. Notice right here, I could have taken a snapshot right here. It gives me a shortcut. Bottom line, I'm going to take a snapshot. And so this will take it just a second. And there it is. It has saved my snapshot. Now if I go back up here, look at my snapshot manager, you will see I started with my base machine. I took a snapshot 1, okay, and I took a picture of this right here. And basically that snapshot is a snapshot of my base right after I added this one folder here. All right, so I'm going to close this, going to move this right up here, and I'm going to drag my files in here, and you'll notice that what it has done for me is, if I scroll down a little bit, I now have a 0000001.vmk, VMDK, and that is some of my snapshot files. You'll also see snapshot 3.0, vmem, virtual memory, various other settings in VMSN, and notice this is a VMDK, this is a VMem virtual machine snapshot file, and so these are all for that particular snapshot. Now it will number these for you, and it would have called it different names had I named it. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to right click, do another new folder, and we're going to say we created this one before snapshot 2, and you guessed it, we're going to go take another snapshot, and we're just going to call it snapshot 2, and we're going to let it build it. It will take it a second. It'll save the virtual machine state to snapshot 2. There it is. It's done. Let me drag the files back in and show you. And there is another VMDK. Now notice I cannot back this VMDK file up. My original VMDK up here is a little over 2 gigs. This one is about 5 megs. This is about 3 megs. It's only getting the changes between those states. All right, so let's go back one more time here. Let's create a folder, and let's call this one Before Snapshot 3. All right, and so there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and you guessed it, I'm going to take one more snapshot. And there's snapshot 3, so we will take that, and things are progressing nicely. Now that I've got 3 separate states to work with, I can go play with these in the snapshot manager and get an idea of how this thing's really thinking. So now when I look at my snapshot manager, notice I have 3 snapshots. Now if I go back to snapshot 2 and I say go to that one, it's going to tell me, and oh wait, before I do that, let me do one more thing. Let me drag my files back on here, and you'll notice that I now have 1, 2, 3 VMDKs, and here's the first snapshots memory and snapshot files. There's the second, and there's the third. All right, so Move that back off. And so now let me go into the snapshot manager. Let's revert back to 2. So I just click on that and say go to, or I could right click and say go to this snapshot. I'll just click on go to, and notice if I restore this, the current state that out here is lost. If I've made any changes and I want to save them in a snapshot, I need to do that. Well, I don't. I'm just going to go here. I will restore snapshot 2, and once this pops back up, it'll take it just a second here to gyrate, get itself all straightened up. And so notice now snapshot 2 comes up, and notice this is where I took a snapshot 2 because I loaded this before snapshot 2, and you don't see 3 on here. Now that's all pretty straightforward. What I want you to see now though out here is, since I am on snapshot 2, I can create another snapshot, but this is going to be a new tree, if you will, or another branch on the tree, because this is going to be another version that was built off snapshot 2, not off of snapshot 3. So that's how we actually work and create these various branches and so forth. So I could create a snapshot here, and it would put a snapshot here, and then I could do another set of linears out here. And until I revert back and click again, for example, if I was to click and go here, it would put me here, and I would start to branch out this way off of 1. So that's how you do the branching. So I'm going to stop part 1 here. I'm out of time. Let's go to part 2, and let's talk about how these things merge when we delete some of them.